El Salvador, land of volcanoes and coffee. You probably know its story by now. Once the most dangerous country in the world, El Salvador has now become the safest country in the Americas, or so they say. I have returned to El Salvador after 3 years to find out, is it actually safe? And if so, what hidden treasures await us in this tiny country? Let me show you. Good morning, friends, welcome to El Salvador. I'm very excited to be back in this beautiful country. Last time I was here, it was 3 years ago, and I only saw the capital city, San Salvador. But today, I'm gonna show you all around the country, from the east to the west. We're gonna go through everything. Volcanoes, beaches, beautiful colonial towns, markets. We're gonna eat some pupusas. I'm super excited to show you what this beautiful country has to offer and present you some of its history as well. Our adventure begins in the capital of the country, San Salvador, which has seen a revival of its historic center with new paved roads and this 6-story library. After walking around the market and enjoying some pupusas, we head towards our first destination. Suchitoto, founded in the 1500s, is the most beautiful colonial town in El Salvador, resting right next to a lake. This is a very photogenic town, with its white cathedral and the tiny cars that travel its cobbled streets. After Suchitoto, we head to the east, to San Miguel. We have made it to San Miguel, the third biggest city in El Salvador, and pretty much the capital of the eastern part of the country, with this iconic cathedral right behind me. Although there's not much to do tourism-wise compared to the west, I wanted to check the place for myself, and I gotta say, that view of the San Miguel volcano alone was worth the trip. In fact, El Salvador is known as a land of volcanoes, hosting 20 active ones in a territory as small as New Jersey. After San Miguel, we head back west to the town of Santa Ana. Hello friends, we have made it to Santa Ana, the second biggest city in El Salvador, although it feels like a small colonial town, to be honest. Quite beautiful, with a beautiful cathedral in the distance. Today we're gonna head to a very special place, the Santa Ana volcano. So let's not delay any longer, let me show you. We are hiking to the tallest volcano in El Salvador. We got a beautiful day today. You can see the whole valley. You can see the volcano Izalco right behind me. It's a little bit smaller, but it's also quite beautiful. Let me show you the top. We're almost there. This is the Santa Ana volcano, or as the locals call it, Ilamatepec. This is the tallest volcano in El Salvador, and from the top you can see the Izalco volcano and the valley. After the volcano hike, be sure to visit nearby Lake Coatepeque. It's also very beautiful. Now we head south to El Salvador's most scenic drive, the Flower Route. The Flower Route consists of 5 towns, which you can visit in one day: Nahuizalco, Salcuatitan, Huayua, Apaneca, and Concepcion de Ataco. Our first stop is Nahuizalco, known as the indigenous capital of El Salvador. Our first town is Nahuizalco, the first town in the Flower Route, and we're gonna go up north all the way to Ahuachapan. This is interesting, it says Cuna Nahuatl, Nahuizalco. As I told you before, this was a hotspot of the Nahuatl Pipil culture. Although it has been greatly reduced, there's very few indigenous people left that can actually speak Nahuatl. The Nahuatl people descended from what is now Utah, so they migrated south through Mexico and they settled in central Mexico, but a small group of Nahuatls came down to El Salvador and became the Pipil people, so they're like distant cousins of the Aztecs, which is quite interesting. But El Salvador sadly has not done a very good job of preserving their indigenous cultures, because there was a lot of massacres of the indigenous people, and the language, as indigenous languages tend to do, gets lost over time. So I would be lucky if I found someone that even spoke Nahuatl Pipil, but I'm gonna try. Buenos días.
Buenos días.
¿Usted conoce a alguien que hable Nahuatl aquí en el pueblo?
No, sí.
¿No? Ya no hay.
¿Cómo no? Hay, pero vienen los domingos.
Ah, vienen los domingos.
Los domingos, sí. Los sábados en la mañana.
Vienen de otros pueblos.
Sí.
So it's interesting, that old lady told me that the Nahuatl speakers descend on Sundays only to the market, this lovely market that I have behind me. So yeah, today is a Thursday, so I ran out of luck. But yeah, there's somewhere out there in the small towns around Nahuizalco. But yeah, it's quite sad that the language will probably die out in 1 or 2 more generations if the government doesn't take the initiative to revitalize it. But it's not a lost case.
Although I didn't have any luck finding Nahuatl speakers, I still enjoyed walking through the market, which felt very different from those you see in the capital. After Nahuizalco, we head north to Salcoatitan and Huayua.
This is one of the most iconic characters in El Salvador, Padre Romero. You will find him everywhere. In every church, his face is there. This man was slain during the Civil War, and I think he has been recently canonized, so he's a saint now. And this is his most famous saying: "If they kill me, I will resurrect in the middle of my people of El Salvador." So he is the most iconic person from El Salvador ever. Well, maybe only second to Nayib Bukele now. El Salvador is known as a land of volcanoes. You can see 7 volcanoes from here, including Izalco. You remember Izalco? We saw it in Santa Ana. It's a gorgeous view. Let's fly the drone so you can see it.
I tried getting some footage of the road, but I didn't strap my GoPro well enough, and all I got was footage of my arm. Oops.
Under this new presidency, all the towns along the flower route are being renovated. You see here the project that they're undertaking to light up the cathedral, so it looks nice at night. Right now we are in Apaneca, and this is the prettiest church so far. Well, second to Huayua. Huayua's church is also beautiful. Each of these towns has a similar feel. Each one has a church and a central park and a lot of things you can eat. But the fun part to me is driving to the places, you know, feeling the wind in your face when you're in the motorbike and seeing the landscapes. It's quite a beautiful region, really beautiful. I've liked all the towns so far, but I think Concepcion de Ataco is my favorite one. Beautiful church, beautiful gardens around here. Yeah, it's such a beautiful route, beautiful towns. I'm super happy.
After the flower route, we head south to the Pacific Ocean. El Salvador has arguably the best surfing spots in the world, with strong waves year-round. People from all over the world come here to El Tunco to practice the sport.
We end our 2-week journey through El Salvador in the beautiful beach of El Tunco, known as one of the best surfing spots in the world. These waves are perfect for surfing almost year-round. And of course, a beautiful sunset behind me. I couldn't be more grateful. This country has been super safe. The people, as always, super lovely. So please add El Salvador to your bucket list. It's worth a visit. It's affordable, the people are lovely, the food is great. There's so many hidden treasures in this country waiting for you. Thank you for joining me.